beautiful house. She looked after the place very nicely. She had nice thick carpet. Each door would cost £1,000. She had nice expensive tiles in the bathroom. Kitchen was top spec. It was a lovely, lovely house. But we said, okay, it's not much more expensive than that. So I'll give you a condition here. If you wait 5 years for the later bit, I'm going to give you 25. But if you're prepared to wait 10 years, I'm going to give you 35. You said, well, I can't wait 10 years, so I'll accept the 5-year option. So we bought it a little bit below market value, let's say.
So I went down to the bank and I borrowed some money from the bank. 75% based on 160,000 value. 75% mortgage is 120,000. Very simple. So if I borrowed 120 and I gave her 110, I've got £10,000 left. It's a little no money down strategy which I've been using for the last 25 odd years. If you'd like to know more about that strategy, you can speak to me at the back of the room. So that looked like that. Basically, I went to the bank and borrowed some money, gave her most of that, kept a bit back for myself, and then we gave her a little bit later on. And funny enough, she come back.
Well, 6 months later, Jane said, you know what, I've run out of money. I need some money to finish the electricals on the caravan. I said, Jane, we have a 5-year agreement, and we agreed to pay £25,000 in 5 years' time. And if you're prepared to wait, we're going to give you 25. So can I have it early? So of course you can, but we can only pay you £10,000. And she agreed to that amazingly. So we bought the property actually at further market value. Remember, it's not about the price; it's about the terms. So
that's the house, 3-bedroom terrace house, ex-council. Not bad. There's Jane and Mesud and their love child. Jane's grandchild there. But she did love Mesud. She really did love him, because when she came into the office to collect her money for the final payment, she actually did a testimonial for her. She wrote us a testimonial, and it said there, Doug and Mesud, and she's spelled Mesud with a love heart. Because she loved him so much. She was a very happy lady. She got exactly what she needed. Not what she wanted, but what she needed. So we sold it on an instalment contract. Give us the figures, we're running out of time.
Okay, if we can sell a negative equity house massively over market value, why can't we sell a discounted property massively over market value? So that's what I did. I put it for £189,995, total purchase price £5,000 no mortgage required. That in exchange gave us £606 net cash flow. Over a 60-month period, £36,000. Plus £57,000 back-end profit. Why our back-end profit is so massive? Because we bought it significantly below market value. Why? If the interest rate goes up, our buyer's rate goes up. We make even more money. We don't have any voids, we don't have any maintenance, we don't have any repairs whatsoever. We don't have any estate agent fees. We can charge even late payment fees if our buyer makes their monthly payments late. It's in the contract. We don't have any managing whatsoever.
Mesud, how much do we make on this?
£100,000, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you now would like to steal? Do you think you can find a discounted house and sell on an installment contract and make 100 grand? Of course you can.
We did all of this. We're either buying or controlling a property using a single document called a joint venture agreement, a JV contract. Each contract is tailor-made. It's bespoke. All we have to actually do is just fill in the blanks on the contract itself. It enables us to instantly control the property. It contains a power of attorney which enables us to sign on behalf of the seller. So we sign the TR1 form which transfers the property at land registry. We can do as we like with the property, sell it, rent it, do what we're living in. It determines the terms and conditions of the contract, the length of the contract. It contains a lock-in agreement, and it contains a third-party authority, which means that it gives us authority to speak to the seller's lender. We speak to the seller's lender, obtain information, and we tell the seller's lender we are now making the mortgage payments. Instead of the seller, we're making the mortgage payments. There is no lender in this country, in the UK, that will not accept third-party mortgage payments, apart from HSBC and JP Morgan. And there's a way around that because you simply open a joint account with the seller. So Mesud, tell us about the 5 simple step process.
Number 1, find a motivated seller. 2, control with a single legal document, joint venture agreement. Find a buyer, write to account, sell on using an installment contract and make shed loads of money.
So let's recap what we spoke about this evening. We've shown you what an instalment contract is and does. We showed you how we're making massive profits in every deal. We showed you some real life examples. We showed you some babysits and some lemons. And we also showed you how we're buying and controlling property using a single document. We have a little live deal structuring session at the end of the meeting. If anybody's got a lemon, they would like to see how they can structure that deal so that it produces positive cash flow and then positive profits. We can do that here this evening, providing we can go online. I said we'd bring our offer to you, so we'll do this as quickly as possible so that it doesn't create too much pain to you. So very quickly, we're running a 2-day ultimate instalment contract masterclass, and it's not until November, so it's quite a long way off. It's the 9th and 10th of November, and over the 2 days, day 1 we're going to show you, we're going to run through the mindset of the investor. Basically, I'm 40 years in personal development, and this is my sort of favourite subject. And what I do is help you reprogram the subconscious mind, which turns you into a money-making machine.
I'm a good example of that.
How to buy and control property with little or no money down. Learn the entire buying and selling process. How to sniff the profits in every deal. And we show you 101 different ways to market for sellers, how to find sellers.
You will never ever struggle to find sellers anymore.
Live deal structuring. And on day 2, Mesud, as quickly as we can, because
step-by-step process of an installment contract. So we can go through every single detail of this contract. We show you how to do your research and marketing. Also, we show you how to master your marketing skills, sales skills and communication skills so you become a professional marketer, professional salesman. We'll show you how to find and convert buyers into satisfied owners. It gives me a great pleasure to see people moving in those houses happy and loving the fact that they own their own place. We love owning, so I love to make people happy. We're also going to show you how to build your professional team. When you build your professional team, you are unstoppable because your deals happen fast and you get paid fast. Also, we're going to give you a bonus, our no money down strategy. We're going to go through every single detail of it. I know in the UK some no money down strategies are not working anymore after 2007, and the credit crunch ours has been working for so many years, and I guarantee you no one else uses it in the country. It's unique.
So we charge $697 for this course, normal price. There's £200 discount for PIN members and PIN community. There's some forms at the back of the room if you'd like to come and see us, where you can obtain the £200 code to get the discount. So 497 instead of 697. For those of you who like this idea and would like to learn more and you can't wait until November, luckily we did film the last 2-day workshop that we did, and we've come up with 8 box set DVD, which basically is 2 days workshop with the breaks taken out of him and me speaking most of the day.
You also receive the whole legal pack with the contract. So
that's 497 normal selling price. Again, there's a discount code on that, brings it to 397. That's the web address that you go to. But if you, again, the forms are at the back of the room. Just come and collect a form. You don't have to commit. Just take the form away with you.
You have 3 DVDs with us today, so you can walk away with it if you want them today.
So there is a bonus pack. We provide all of the paperwork. Every single piece of paperwork that you could ever dream that you would ever need is included in a document pack. That's the
thick book.
JV agreement, the instalment contract, protocol pack, ID, third-party authority, the whole shooting match is there. You won't need any other documents. You get access to our, comes with a DVD and also the 2-day workshop, both the same, yes, exactly the same. Access to our closed Facebook group where we do deal structuring on there, we share deals on there, share information, solve problems together. And of course, because it's a niche strategy and it's slightly advanced, you will need some email support. So we offer 30-day email support for those people that want to take that up, so that you're not out there on your own. You haven't bought the DVD and you're on your own and thinking, well, now what do I do? you can simply contact us and we help you through the first stages of doing the first deals. We also take some telephone calls with that as well.
Doing paperwork, structuring deals, getting your deals through.
Normally the first things our students say is, I've got my first deal, I'm doing the JV, can you just tell me what goes in that line? I can't quite remember. I said, well, it's on the DVD, have a look through, but we just help them through just to make sure they know exactly what to do. That's very important. So Mesud just wants to show you some proof. Proof is in the pudding. So
17,200 profit, 5,600 profit, £70,000 profit, £5,000 profit, £5,600 profit, £18,000 profit, £29,000 profit, £51,871 profit, £50,000 cashback.
any questions? Oh, we got a question in front.
Are they actually, so that these payments that they're paying per month, is that paying for the house then?
Absolutely,
So
comes off
that
of the...
comes at the end of the mortgage, that's the original mortgage people that you got the house from. Is that when they stop paying and the house becomes theirs?
Yeah, so let's say we exchange contracts with our buyer. If we're controlling the property from a seller, we have an underlying mortgage, or they have an underlying mortgage. So we introduce the buyer, and they exchange contracts with the seller, and we sit in the middle. We collect the buyer's payments, and we make the seller's mortgage payments, and we make the bit in between.
We always stay in the middle.
Payments come in here, and the payments go out here, so we make the bit in between.
But is that just until the mortgage is paid off?
Until the mortgage is paid off. So we encourage the buyer to go down the bank as soon as they can, obtain their own mortgage. Of course, their monthly payments will be far, far cheaper if they were to do that. So why wouldn't they? As soon as they can. Obtain your own mortgage. When you can do that, come and pay us off. So if you just come in from Eastern Europe last year, but you want to own a property and the banks won't lend, within 4 to 5 years you'll be in a position to go to the bank and get your own mortgage. If you're self-employed and you've got no accounts, 3, 4, 5 years you can sort that problem out. Got a bad credit, sort that problem out, get down the bank as soon as you can. Or you could sell the house. You've exchanged contracts so you can do as you wish with it. Next question. Somebody there.
The documentation, do you get it run past the solicitor? Because sometimes the buyer or seller may ask you to do that.
Do you think we might have done that already?
Yeah, do you do that as standard?
Yeah, I mean, constantly. We are currently with council on our instalment contract and legal representation to make sure that it's absolutely squeaky clean. We're just tweaking it all the time just to make sure that we've got the right terms and the terminology is correct in there. So absolutely, yes.
Which solicitors do you use? Because some of them aren't very familiar with this.
Most solicitors that deal with commercial law will deal with instalment contracts, but basically it's a standard conveyance. It's an exchange of contracts, standard. Nothing special about it. The only difference is there's an instalment contract in between exchange and completion. So exchange contracts delay the completion for some time down the line, and in the meantime pay us some instalments. And when you're ready to complete, come and complete. That's the only difference. So you show that to the solicitor, ask if you're happy to deal with instalment contracts, standard conveyance, so standard fees. You don't need a special solicitor that does lease options, that charges £1,500 for doing so. You don't need that.
We teach you to the workshop how to find your local solicitors. Our local solicitor charges £250 plus VAT, as cheap as that. So we teach you how to find them, they're so easy.
Any other questions?
Yeah, similar question to what Darren asked. Obviously, they've been run through solicitors to sort of get all that done, etc. But my asking you, obviously, people are going to be paying you lots of money. Yeah, so are they represented or are you represented for the paying solicitor costs?
If you exchange contracts with me, you need a solicitor, and so do I.
Okay.
Standard conveyance.
That was the question. You
Yeah.
got solicitors costs to do these, yeah?
No, we sit in the middle. Remember, sellers pays their solicitor costs, buyer pays their solicitor's costs. We stay in the middle, we never pay solicitor's costs.
Okay, so that vendor's actually checking it out before we pay money to you, etc. And that's where the solicitors come in. Okay. Cool.
Can I just ask what happens if, have you had a situation where the buyer can't or doesn't want to continue with the contract and wants to back out of it.
Okay, well, the thing is, if you've exchanged contracts with me, I am duty bound to complete, and so are you. If you want to back out of the contract, then you'll lose your deposit and you lose all the money you've paid me up to date. Now, if you suggest that, I suggest you sell the property then, because that's your option. If you don't want to complete, sell it. If you can't sell it, I'll help you sell it to somebody else who would probably like to come in and take your position on an instalment contract. So I'm going to start again with somebody else.
And you get charged for
I'll take an upfront fee again, and I'll take the monthly payments, but I'll keep your money
Yeah.
because you've broken the contract.
And you might even get some money off me for walking away.
Absolutely. Yes.
Just to expand that further, so if the buyer stops paying, are you left with the debt obligation, mortgage obligation?
If the mortgage is in my name, then it's my obligation. If the mortgage is in the seller's name, it's still my obligation because I have an agreement with him that I'll pay his mortgage. So I'm responsible for the payments, and I'll always make the payments. Like any other investor, that if you miss a mortgage payment, your chances of getting another mortgage is fairly remote. So I guarantee that I'll make the payments. But do you think it's difficult for me to find another tenant buyer, as we call them? We're not really tenant buyers as such.
No, I'm just thinking, but there is a potential for short-term liability until you can replace it.
But you know, we've taken 5, 10, 15, 20,000 pounds up front. We're already ahead of the game anyway.
Yeah.
Plus we've had massive monthly cash flow. So the cash flow comes in here and the mortgage payment goes out here. So we've got that cash flow as well. So we're usually quite ahead of the game anyway.
We rarely have board periods. I understand your point, and if you feel that you've got a property that is not going to sell straight away, I suggest put a condition on the joint venture contract and say, look, I'd like to market the property first, and I'd like to commit to a joint venture contract once I have moved a buyer in. You can do that. Or let the property for a while and look for a buyer while the property is let. That's also a possibility. We have done that.
Great strategy, isn't it?
Can I just ask what the advantage for your strategy is over, say, a tenant buyer and an option?
Yeah, with an option, you're moving a tenant in, and the tenant has an assured short-term tenancy agreement. And it's your responsibility as the landlord to insure the property and look after it. If the boiler breaks down, it's your responsibility to repair it or replace it. If the tenant decides that they no longer want to live in the property, they leave. They can hand back the option. You don't have to take it up. So if you're in the middle of a sandwich where you've taken an option from somebody and then you sold the option on to somebody else, that person could end up with that option back. And if that comes back to them in 5 years' time when they don't really want it, they want to get rid of it anyway, it goes back to them when they don't want it, when it could be at the worst possible time to ever give them that property back. Is that really ethical?
Uncertainty.
So an instalment contract means that we exchange contracts and we know there will be a completion. That is certainty. There's a completion. A lease option means that you've got the option to buy it, but you don't have to. So you could end up with it back, and you've got a tenant in there rather than a buyer. Okay, you call them a tenant buyer, but they are a tenant because they have an AST. Our buyers don't have ASTs.
So do you find you can actually get a better value out of the deal, the instalment contract, than you can on, say, a tenant buying with option?
You can get a bigger deposit, you can get much bigger monthly payments, there is certainty of a completion and certainty of a back-end profit. 50% of options don't complete. Also, they've got a bad name because if some gurus sold their property portfolio on an option and they went bankrupt, and all those amateur investors that bought those properties suffered the losses. With an installment contract, you won't have that problem. So I think we are run out of time. Thank you for listening.
Andy, one more question. We're going to see you at the back of the
Are
room.
there any added complications if the motivated seller, typically on these leasehold banks, has already got a tenant in there? Do you need to get them out first, or?
Well, you know, that's the reason why a lot of these people have problems selling these properties, because they have a tenant in there, put it on the market, they lose the tenant, they've got a void.
Yeah.
that works well for us because we say, okay, well, let's babysit your property for you, let's babysit your tenant for you, and let's babysit your mortgage payments for you. How does that make you feel? You're not going to have a void now, so we'll babysit the tenant, and then we'll find a buyer